Hello everyone, my name's Josh, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make a book light using just one C-stand. This is a fairly compact single key light solution that I discovered here on YouTube actually. I'll link the original video that I got the inspiration from. But essentially what this light is it's a replacement for your standard key light, being a softbox or some other sourcey light, replacing it for a compact single stand book light setup that utilizes a bounce into some diffusion material. So I'm going to set it up for you here, and we're just going to go through piece by piece. The first part of this entire solution is the C-stand. I'm going with a Avenger C-stand that I had laying around here in my garage. I'm also going to be combining it with an Avenger grip head, and if I haven't mentioned it yet, all of the products in this video will be listed in the description below. On the Avenger grip head, I'm going to put this 40x40 Ultra Bounce Floppy that I got from Modern Studio Equipment. I love this product. I love Ultra Bounce material for its ability to bounce back light without losing a lot of the intensity and also softening it quite a bit. But just the form factor of this 40x40 floppy, it fits really well into cars, like vans in the back of hatchbacks. And I find that I can carry it with a case pretty easily, or at least as easy as I was able to carry my original softbox. So that's going on the top here. And then to follow, we're going to mount our light. Now, to use a book light, as you know, you're going to need something a little more powerful than your standard off-the-shelf. So for this system, I'm going with my Aperture 600D, which I think is actually the perfect light for this system. Could you use more? Perhaps, for bigger situations, but I think the 600D and maybe even the 300 could power this quite adequately for a single-person interview. Now, the magic of this system is that it only requires one stand, and of course, to accomplish that, you're going to want to use the top leg of the C-stand, and that's what we're going to be mounting our light on. So I'm using a super clamp here, along with a small 3/4 rod going into the super clamp, and that's what we're going to put the fixture of the 600D on. I'm actually going to angle the 600D towards the Ultra Bounce just to get more spill onto the fabric. You'll see me put a reflector on it shortly, but this is what we're doing so far. And here comes the reflector. Very good. Everything's standard. There's no other parts that come with the 600D that you can't just use right out of the box here. So Aperture 600D, a stand, and the 40x40 Ultra Floppy along with the grip head. We're doing great. We'll wire it all up, and we're going to get ready to turn it on here. Let's go for a test. Very good. That's insanely bright. I honestly, I cannot believe how bright LED fixtures have become in recent times. Now, because the 40x40 Ultra Bounce Floppy from Modern Studio has a metal frame along the edges, it has a fair bit of rigidity to it. Not so much that you'd want to, hang a substantial amount of weight to it, but enough to carry at least a moderate amount of fabric. And that's exactly how we're going to construct our book light in this scenario. So what I've done is I've got two studio clips. They're just like photography clips essentially. And I'm going to take this 4x4 sheet of single stop Westcott Diffusion, and I'm going to clip it to the Ultra Bounce, to the top, so it hangs down just there. And this is essentially the setup for your book light. You're going to put your talent on the opposite side of that diffusion, and as you can see, the light's going to hit the Ultra Bounce, bounce over and around and into that 4x4 single stop diffusion, essentially double diffusing it, making your light extra soft. Now, of course, in this example, it's pretty high, and you could use a longer piece of diffusion, but for this example, I'm just going with the principle here, and that's what you would want to do if you want to make a book light for a single interview subject. Now, my camera went out of focus and I didn't notice, so unfortunately we're gonna have to deal with slightly blurry footage here. But what I found, and what I use actually when I shoot interviews, I have a 6x6 sheet of bleached muslin that I use. It's a lot bigger, it covers the source better, and muslin takes a lot more intensity out of the light. It's a much softer, it's harder to pass, it's a much softer light filtering material. So what I do is I put that unbleached muslin on top of the set that I have, and then I just clip it into the Ultra Bounce Floppy with the Ultra Bounce Floppy with the clips, and then that is my book light. Now, in a perfect world, I would cover the sides to avoid spill, but we're just showing the demonstration here in our garage, so no worries about that. But you get crazy soft light on this, and in recent times, this has become my preference in terms of shooting like interviews, is to use this as a key light. It's really a time and place. You don't get like the perfect circles in the eyes as you would with a softbox, but if you're going for a more diffused look, this you really can't beat this in terms of compact travel and just the ability to use it kind of on a one-man band type of thing. I really like this setup. So really quickly here at the end, I'm going to show you examples of how everything kind of came together. The first example I'm going to show you is of the booklight with the 4x4 diffusion. So this is like a good scenario, I think, in terms of how the booklight should function into that single stop of diffusion. I like to have more, but one stop is pretty good. As you can see on my face, it's very soft, ignoring all of the spill onto the background and foreground. You do preserve shadow on the shadow side for you to light up with a secondary light or something in the background, but very soft look and something to be admired in certain situations. The next thing I'm going to show you is the diffusion with the 6x6 of bleached muslin. What I can see here is that this is quite a bit softer. I forget the stops that bleached muslin takes out, but it's more than one, that's for sure. You need a lot more power to get through that at the same exposure. But I really like the look. It's flattering. If you get the source big enough, you can do almost a full body of source, which is appealing for a certain, a completely other range of different types of styles for interviews. This is something that I go with quite frequently, and I really like using this as a single source booklight. And then just for a fun comparison at the end here, I brought in a 34-inch softbox from Aperture, kind of like the standard thing you'd be using. And I know there's not as much fill in the room because of all the spill, but just to kind of show on the face what exactly is happening with that sourcey look, because you get a much more defined shadow edge with a softbox than you would with something like this one stand booklight system. And you know what, if you're going for that, perfectly fine. I think there's use cases for either of them. Like I said, softbox, you get that really nice circular highlight in the eye. Something like this, maybe something like the one light booklight, maybe you get something a little more flattering with the body or maybe an environment. Completely up to you, but it should be just another tool in your arsenal of lighting interviews so we don't get bored of doing the exact same thing over and over and over again. Here are all three of them combined, just all side by side. Leftmost, we have single stop booklight, we have bleached muslin booklight, and then we have spot. And that's all three of them side by side so you can compare and kind of decide what's right for you in this scenario. If you want me to build out this setup or you're looking for any other little quirky tips that I found along the way for video production, just let me know in the comments below. I read every single one of them. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video.